know you guys are locked down, and it's you know, it's that time of the year which we all are aware of in the UK. Often the weather isn't very nice. Often things are a bit grey. Okay, so it's my job to cheer you up, right? That's my job, is it, Ross? So is that my job, to cheer you guys up, to put a smile on your face? I hope so, because look, let's be honest. At the moment, this world of crypto is fantastic. The numbers are crazy. As I said before, I would like to say I told you so to some people, but I told you so. And the reality is that I've already started to get some questions about, okay, so things are starting to look good. What's the future? What is 2021 going to look like? If things, you know, start to really rock and roll, how far can this go? What's really going to happen? What is the most likely situation in this marketplace, and how can you prepare for that? Okay, everyone. David?
Very good.
Is that what you want, guys? Because it's all very well having a look and having a bit of a read in the crypto market, hearing what people are saying. But fundamentally, it's about truly understanding where this thing's going to go. Because you get a choice, guys. You get a choice of how you look at the crypto market, whether you look at it like some sort of new national lottery, and you need to buy your ticket, and you're hoping the market's going to do a bit of a spike so you can sell out and upgrade that car. Or you can have a look at it like Dacxi does and consider it an investable asset class. Investable asset class. So it's a new one. It's part of the alt market, which includes everything from hedge funds to property markets, you know, specialist property markets and those sort of things. This is a new area, and your timing into it is what? Perfect. You just need to know why it's perfect. And so what I've got is a few slides that I'd like to go through. I'll try to go through them as fast as I can. I'll go through them faster than I did last night, okay, because this is the second time I'm going to go through them. So that last night, my time, it's morning for me now. It's a beautiful Wednesday, if you would like to know. If you're wondering about tomorrow, it is a beautiful day. And what I want to do is I want to go through it relatively quickly, because I've got 7 points that I think it would be useful to you to understand, to give you a frame of reference to look at next year in the right way, okay? So whether you're watching me now or whether you're watching this by recording, the key thing to appreciate is that this is an absolute critical time for you, hopefully, personally, but also for the marketplace. It's one of those, you know, it's one of those times when you look back and you remember it as a sort of transformational time if you take the sort of action that you need to do. All right, so everyone ready?
Ready.
Okay, cool. So now, can you see that? Give me a thumbs up, Dave. See that, Jay? Fantastic. So look, I asked the question. I think everything should be, all learning is really about having your questions asked. And the question I would put to everyone is, why should you buy crypto today? Okay. And because we're asking the question about buying crypto today, what we're actually saying is we're buying it today, so we need to have confidence in the future. Does that sound right? Yeah. And what I can tell you is that the vast majority of people who predict the future that I see at the moment in crypto market, they're nearly always wrong, if you'd like to know. And I would like to say that a lot of my predictions as for this market seem to be coming true, which is great. We don't often get the timing right. But if we think about what you should be doing, which is really looking at trends, then hey, I'm pretty confident that I can help you be able to do that. Obviously, this presentation is not giving any financial advice. Take advice should you do that. Do your own due diligence, but hopefully I will help you understand much more about it. For those of you that don't know who I am, I have been actually a futurist for more than 25 years. My books on the subject have sold a lot of copies, more than 1 million copies. And I have been speaking all around the world and commenting, writing in magazines and articles about the future of many industries for quite a long period of time. In the UK, I have a commercial side to me, which is I've been involved with organisations for a very long time because this is a British thing. Most people elsewhere in the world, they've never heard of Utilities Warehouse, but I actually created and founded and listed Telecom Plus, which is the formal name for Utilities Warehouse, during the last tech boom. So I consider the last tech boom being in the late 90s, the old .com boom. So I've been in crypto full time for 5 years now. I founded and I'm the CEO of Dacxi, which we've been running for about 3.5 years. And my real passion has always been on the educational side of crypto. It's always been that. It's always been my passion. And those of you that have known me for a while know I can bore you to the absolute death about what's happening in this marketplace, because as I said, I'm a futurist and an educator first, and a businessman second. That's my passion, is more about making a difference. So I hope I can help you. I hope I can help you today, and I hope you realize that when it comes to looking at the future, it's been a career of mine, and I think it's valuable to you. So look, I want you to pay attention. I saw that thing and I wanted to put it in there, and I just wanted to put it in there because look, I have, as I said, I've been a futurist about financial opportunities for a very long time. And, you know, I have people asking me all the time about, what about this opportunity? What about this industry? And certain times I go, pay attention, because I'm going like, this is one of those times, one of those right time, right place times that you will maybe get, you get like once in your life. If you're lucky, you get a couple of them in your whole life. And the reality is, most people, as Churchill says, most people stumble over an opportunity and then get up, stand up, dust themselves off and walk off as if nothing happened. Got it? And so what you want to do is you want to be so clear about what I'm saying. And so the fact is that a lot of people think they've been in the crap. I reckon that must be the worst job. That guy works in the sewers in Bangladesh. Yes, that black stuff he is swimming in is what you can imagine. It's the sewers in Dhaka in Bangladesh. So if you think life is tough for you, I reckon that's a new low. All right, that poor bloke. And the point is that, you know, months ago, a lot of people were very downhearted. They were very concerned about the future of crypto. You know, I used this slide for a whole presentation in March. David, you might remember, I was talking about what the future would be. Crypto. So Bitcoin had gone down to, you know, it was down below £3,000. And I just said, hey, look, you know, you just got to be positive. In every crisis, there's also an opportunity. And so long as you understand the market, you would take action. And those people who then bought at, I think it was, you know, something like £3,000 for Bitcoin, or maybe £4,000, but not a lot. My point is, not a lot. And if they'd focused not on what was happening at the moment, but rather than the long-term value proposition of the crypto market, if they'd bothered to learn, they would have understood that they needed to take action. And it's had this wave, which has taken us today. And what will happen is there will be another wave. Got it? What you're seeing at the moment is as I'll explain, is a part of a wave, and there'll be another wave after that, and another wave after that. Got it? another wave after that, which I'm going to talk about now, and then there'll be another even bigger one after that, which Dacxi is designed to help you participate in this one, but especially to lead the one after that, okay? And so when I'm saying why should you buy crypto now, the reason is simply that crypto has started to boom. It's got at least 5 times 500% growth. So you will never get a better risk reward, because the reality is a lot of people, it's all very well me going, oh, you should have taken action in March. In reality, for a lot of people, the risk profile back then is too much for most people. Got it? It's too much. But now, come on. Come on. Come on. All right. When you understand, it's not difficult to explain when you understand, okay? And for me, I'm asking the question, what does it need for you to go all in? What does it need for you to really understand? Because if you thought the market was nearly guaranteed to go up, would you sell your car and buy crypto? You and I know that you're locked down anyway, so you don't need your car. Get a bike. But also, you know, you sell your car, you buy crypto, the market goes up by 300 or 400%. You sell your crypto and you buy a better car. Look, I talked to a guy yesterday. We're hiring a new financial controller, and I was talking to the references, and he said, what do you do? And I told him, and he went, oh, I just bought a whole lot of crypto. And I went, oh, that's good. And he said, man, it's crazy. And I went, yeah, it's crazy. And he went, oh, that's great. He said, you know, I've just sold my house. So I got a whole lot of money. I'm thinking of putting all my money into crypto. What do you think? What do you think I said? I went, shit, yeah, do it now. Put the whole lot in. And if you don't feel comfortable with that, it's because you don't understand crypto. In your head, you're going, ooh, only put in enough as you can imagine, you know, if you can lose, which is the sort of advice you give to someone going to a casino or to the horse track or something that is so risky that you could lose all your money. And if you have that mentality, you fundamentally do not understand what's happening, and you need to wake up and smell the roses and understand what's happening. Okay? Good enough start for you? Okay, good. Look, the fact is that the crypto market has had one wave. Hopefully you will have seen that graph before. If you haven't, it's really, really simple. We had the first wave, which is from the foundation, 2009 through to 2018. We pioneered the technology. It was driven by traders and speculators, mainly Asian, okay? There was a real spike because of a whole lot of new coins, which is called an ICO. So a whole lot of new cryptos being launched that absolutely boomed, and everyone thought they were going to get absolutely rich, and then it bust. And in 2018, it dropped for some coins by 98%. And because of that, there's a whole lot of people who will still say to you, ooh, crypto, oh, it's all going to collapse, because they don't know what the hell they're talking about. They're just people who never, ever, ever get involved with anything, all right? They don't know things. It's like I have friends who are very senior bankers who go, oh, Ed, are you still in that crypto? I now just give them a hug, and I just go, look, your problem is you're a dinosaur. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. The laugh is much larger banking organizations than you are massive into crypto. And the only reason that you're not doing it is because your bank is backward, and it'll probably die in the next disruption of banking. And so will you go. You should see their face. You can't say that to me. Because I think they're so arrogant. Like, it's all bullshit. Look, the fact is that we had a pioneer wave, okay? And the reality now is that things have changed. And so that arrow starts at the start of 2019. We actually started marketing what we're doing in late 2018. So 2019, and since then, it's gone up lots. And those people that were lucky enough to hear from us early in the the day and took action are very, very happy. Like I've been yakking to people recently that have, you know, they went large, you know, they went, you know, 50,000, 100,000, 150,000 into crypto in the early days. So you can imagine how much money they've got, how much their portfolios are up by now. It's like fantastic. And they deserve every shekel that they make because they had the smarts to be able to do that. And you never quite know what's happening. And so what we need to do is to just look now at the future, okay? We need to look now at the future and look, can you see that graph, right? Can everyone see that graph? Now you see the red arrow. Now the red arrow points to November 2020. And if you look across where that point is and look across to on the left to the trillion of that axis, you can see that it sort of shows it at about $500 to $600 billion. Guess what crypto is today? $500 to $600 billion. Okay, and I did this a long time ago. And the fact, even though the market has changed a bit, look, so that's where I think we are, and it's you know, it's a good guess. Come on, it's a good guess. It's a good guess, but it's a reasonably accurate. And so that graph is actually based not on me just drawing things on a piece of paper and getting a designer to look at it. It's actually behind that is a whole lot of research as far as what different areas of crypto will do, and therefore what the market will roll into. So what I'm talking about today is actually based on a whole lot of research that shows how this market develop. And if you know anything about the way industries grow, that point is what's called a tipping point. Okay, there's a famous book by Gladwell called Tipping Point, which is the critical mass. Do you understand? Momentum. You hit a point when things go into momentum. You hit a thing where people turn around and go, what? Smartphone? I'll never have a smartphone. Okay, no one's got a smartphone, to suddenly turning around 6 months later and you're the idiot without a smartphone. Got it? That's how technology works. And we are hitting, I'm telling you now, we are hitting the tipping point for this second wave. I call it the currency wave. It's going to be driven by discussions around payment currencies. It's going to be driven by the big financial organizations, the consumer giants, the retail organizations. And what you need to understand is that if someone says, oh yeah, do you think it'll really happen? You just go, dude, it's already happening. Crypto is the best performing asset class in the world in 2019 and in 2020. And next year, we're just going to kill every other asset class. Got it? Got it? What am I saying? I'm saying that we have hit what? Critical mass. Critical mass. We hit that tipping point. And the story of these graphs have always been in crypto that the next boom has always made the previous boom look like a pimple on a graph. Okay? And don't think that that graph is where it ends. There is another wave after that is even bigger, okay? The only difference is you got to know how to then move out of one part of the crypto asset world into the next part. Does everyone understand it? Hold your hand up. You got it? You get that. So that's that graph, and then we pivot into the next one, which is all around what's called tokenization, which Dacxi will lead. Okay, so the thing for a lot of people is that they need to know that the major organizations are involved. This is just a fraction of those that are actually involved. The fact is that the reason why things will move strongly now is that these organizations are involved. It takes large organizations a lot of time to launch something. Do you understand? Like companies like Dacxi can do it in weeks and months. Organizations like Fidelity or Amazon or Facebook or the New York Stock Exchange, they it takes them literally, years. When you think that there's a bank called DBS. You may not have heard of it, but DBS is the Singapore government-owned bank. It is like Lloyd's on steroids. It's massive, okay? And it is the largest bank in Southeast Asia. And they have, for over 2 years, said that they don't believe in crypto. Meanwhile, they're negotiating with companies like Dacxi to buy a crypto exchange. I know because I got told by the global boss of the crypto division in DBS that the global CEO of DBS approved their crypto division in May 2018. And it just got released that they are launching a full service crypto division. They're just waiting for the Singapore government licensing. And I know that because I talked to the global boss of crypto for DBS 2 weeks ago. Okay, he gave me a call just to say hi, to say, hey, when he coming to Singapore, because he thinks it was really nice. He said my view on the crypto market was the most accurate one he'd ever heard. And my point is that these organizations are getting involved now. And so they get their clients in who are very large. And when you imagine, do you really, really think the largest wealth organizations in the world will be getting their huge clients involved in crypto now if they thought it was a 3-month pitch? Do you understand? Okay, the Fidelities of the world with their sort of $5 trillion worth of assets, they now have launched the UK. They're talking about crypto for their institutional clients, the big things. They're getting them to buy now because of what they see in the future. Do you understand? It is the second wave that is the big guy. So Google pioneered the second wave, not the first wave. Facebook, second wave of social. Not MySpace was the first. Nokia was the first wave of mobile. Apple, and the second wave you see PayPal, you see Dacxi, you see DBS. And what we're doing is different. Dacxi is different from every other organization. They're just focused on some sort of transactional brokerage concept. We are looking at wealth. We're turning around and saying, we want you to go on this journey for the next 10 years because this new area is a major new asset class that will deliver returns that you will not see in the other asset classes. Got it? Do you understand what I just said? And whether you go with us or go with someone else, for me, I just want people to get involved in this space because that is the vision, and it can have a big impact. And so the first lesson is that the big guys are only buying for the long-term value. You got that? So these big investment funds are buying they don't buy for 3 months, they buy for 3 years. So they must, after their analysis, look at this crypto space and say, hey, this thing has a future, all right? Long-term future. And it's taken them a while. Like this article, I think it was Forbes magazine, talked about, so that was in the middle of last year, Alibaba, PayPal, Amazon say no to cryptocurrency. That was yesterday. PayPal CEO says he's bullish on Bitcoin. Got it? They just didn't talk about it because they weren't ready. You understand? They just didn't talk about it because they weren't ready. But because they've done their analysis, they've got really lots of sort of propeller heads who have looked at this space and say, hey, it's got a real big term vision. So if you have a look at that cryptocurrency, that top line, we're talking $2 to $5 trillion. So as I said, it's around 500 to 600 billion today. 2 to 5 trillion says that the upside on this is somewhere between 300% and whatever that is, nearly 1,000%. Got it? But then there are two other types of crypto. One is incentive tokens, which is not really investable asset class. It's all all the cities, all the charities, all the sports clubs, all those sort of guys will have incentive tokens. You know, big department stores will have all of their incentive tokens. And then the other big one is asset tokens, which is $5 to $10 trillion. That is where we will help you in currencies and then pivot into asset tokens. So you'll take your profits and reinvest them into this new area. Does everyone understand what we're talking about?
Yeah.
The point here is that the value is like $10 trillion, and that's a 10 with how many zeros after it? Lots, 12 zeros. You know, I'd be happy with only 9 zeros. Some people would be happier with only 6 zeros. But the point is, it's a really, really big number. And that's why the big boys are putting money into this space. And this is why you should feel so confident about the future today. All right? This is why you can go. Now, the key thing with this asset class is that Bitcoin is the big guy. He's 60 to 61% of the total market cap. And so all the focus has been about Bitcoin. So everyone watches and sees that goes. And the reason why it's strong is because the big guys are buying it. Got it? Okay? They're going it. So if you look at the graph, on the left-hand side is the previous boom. We've had a couple of years of wiggles, okay? We thought it would go and then it didn't go, thought it would go, then it didn't go. And now it broke what was called in US dollar terms, broke the $14,000 level. And then now is chasing the $20,000 level. So it's at the point of the previous heights. That's the key thing. I can't remember where Bitcoin was this morning, but it was like, I think it actually got up to 19,000. And so it'll test 20,000. No one knows whether it'll go over 20,000. It might bounce down from 20,000. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It was at, you know, it was at only 5,000 in March. Got it? So the growth of this space is fantastic. And so long as you remember that graph, you realize that this is tiny compared to where it should be. Now, the key thing then is you've got Bitcoin goes and then and all the focus is on Bitcoin, but then what happens, the market says, well, what else should I be putting my money into? And they focus on what we call the blue chips, okay? And these blue chips are simply the ones that the big organizations are buying. And that's the press release from PayPal in, you know, what's that, a month ago, where they said that they will soon support Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, and Litecoin. And they say that PayPal was the largest buyer of Bitcoin in November in the United States. So they've launched, and they're the largest because, do you know how many customers they've got? 350 million. They are a $250 billion company. They are massive. And so they have the sort of marketing oomph to be able to really push the marketing along. But you'll notice it doesn't say they're focusing everyone on 100 coins or 50 coins or 20 coins. They're only focusing on those ones. So that's where all the money is going. And the market is sheep. So if Bitcoin is focusing on those four, it's a very brave financial institution to focus on anything else. Got it? Does everyone understand that? So they're just focused on that marketplace. And that's why suddenly these blue chip coins are starting to really rock and roll. When you look at Ethereum, Ethereum's had a really good push. It's actually, I think it's over 600 now. And that's where it was yesterday. I think it's more, but where Bitcoin is at its previous highs, Ethereum, as you can see, is still only 50% of its previous high in 2017. And that's why people are excited about it. And so people say, oh, well, I'm going to buy Ethereum. And I go, okay, that's great. So you're not going to buy a portfolio? And they go, yeah, well, that's dumb. Okay, that's dumb because Litecoin, which is the other one, is now at 86 and it was at 348. Got it? And you just don't know. Do you understand? You just don't know. All we do know is that of the three sort of those PayPal, like Dacxi, it's not a surprise that we support those 4 coins that PayPal supports. Okay, I think it's nice that they copied us. Probably not, but the point is that we just looked at what all the major organizations said they were supporting, and that's where the money will go. And so that's why it's smart to be able to follow this marketplace. And what happens is Bitcoin goes, and then the other, what are called alts come in. And this graph, all it shows is what's called market dominance. And so the brown area is the value of Bitcoin compared to the total market cap. So obviously you can see on the left-hand side, in the early days, Bitcoin totally dominated the market capitalization, more than 80 or 90%. And then in the last boom, suddenly people bought Bitcoin, and then they focused on these other blue chips. You can see, I don't know whether you can see that. You can see, can you see the blue line? That sort of stuff. That's Ethereum and Litecoin. Got that? And that's why you always need to have a portfolio approach. Okay, does everyone get that? Yeah. Okay, so the next thing is you say, okay, well, the big guys, that Bitcoin will always have this big focus. These blue chips will always have this focus. There'll be increasingly talk about X coin and blue coin and green coin and all these other coins, okay, who are known as alternative coins. And look, those coins are actually, will grow. But you need to be very, very skeptical about it. And the reason why I do that is because you don't know which ones will go. You know the big boys will, but you don't know about the other ones. And I was doing some research, and I was looking at the performance of the 48th, the 49th, the 50th, the 51st, and the 52nd largest cryptos in the world. So there are 8,000, and these are the ones that are sort of, around top 50, okay? And in this year, number 48 has grown by 64%, okay? Which is not as much as Bitcoin, which is certainly nowhere near Litecoin, and Ethereum is like 350%. Okay, so if you bought number 48 because you thought it was a good future, versus buying the blue chips, what would have happened? Screwed it up, right? But if you bought 49, it went up 3,800%. Whoop whoop. Okay, you would be telling everyone about it. If you bought number 50, it went down 7%. Oh crap. Okay, imagine, I don't have number 49, but I've got number 50. Oh hell, I've lost money. Number 51 went up 140%, and number 52 went up only 17%. Do you understand my point? Understand my point. The further you go away from the big boys, the more risky you are. And when you look at this marketplace, you need to if you're going to go into anything other than the really, really big boys, okay, you got to be very clear about what you're doing. You need to have a better understanding of what that coin does and really where its potential. Otherwise, you'll take the money that you'll make in the blue chips and you'll get rid of it. Do you understand? You will get rid of it, and be under no illusions. Once this market takes another bit of a leap, lots of people will be taking money out of their blue chips, and they'll be putting it in all these new markets. And I just cannot tell you enough that you need to make sure that you have a portfolio based on these blue chip portfolio, okay? And we have proven that the 3 coins that we focus on in the framework that we put, that things is the best performing portfolio on the marketplace. Got that? Over 2 years. And we did it because I didn't try and play God here. What I did was I looked at the most important thing is, where is the big money going? Where is the big money going? And the big boys will never, ever, ever buy number 50. Got it? They might buy number 5, but not number 50. Got it? And so what'll happen in this space is that, and this is another little thing I want to teach you, okay? When we look at 2021, what's going to happen? What do you reckon? What's going to happen? I think what'll happen is this. I think that this blue chip market is going to have a really positive run. Now, we could get a correction, okay? We could get a correction because if Bitcoin, you know, it's near its all-time trading highs, it could correct down, all right? That could happen. But I think over the next certainly 2, 3, 4 months, I think we'll get a really good run because there's just too much money coming behind it. Do you understand? There's too much. The stock market is too high. People, big organizations will be just selling, you know, maybe 1% of their portfolio and putting it into this crypto because everyone else is. And if they don't, they're going to look like a dick, you know, at the bar talking to their other Wall Street or city mates. Okay. I used to be in the city. I know how much sheep they are. Okay. So the point is that they're going to go, so they'll make good money. And then what will happen is there'll be a ton of talk about all the new coins, of the coins that are currently listed and the new ones that are listing on the marketplace. Would you agree? They'll use their money so they'll get a little bit more speculative about what's going to happen. And don't get pulled into that marketplace unless you really, really know what you're doing, because you know, you need to know what your motivation is. You need to look forward and go, okay, I'm doing this for wealth. I'm doing this to build my wealth. So at the end of this boom in crypto, whether it takes 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, with the different areas that you have rode the boom. Got it? It's like buying London property in the late 90s. Okay? Got it? Buying property in the late 90s and riding that crazy boom that took, you know, my £200,000 house in Parsons Green in central London to £1.4 million by the sort of end of the 2000s. Got it? Just a crazy boom, and you just want to do that. And because people don't really do that. You know, look, that graph there is from the FCA. It's the British research. It just shows, the amount of crypto that the people held, that Brits hold. Okay, and you can see like 50% say they've got £260, 70% say they've got £1,000 or less. £1,000 is not going to change your wealth. Do you understand? If it goes up by 200%, gee whiz, you get a better holiday. All right. At the moment, it'll probably be to Bognor. All right. You won't be going to, Bratislava. But the point is that, you know, the British market are investing in crypto in a huge amount, but they're all treating it like a casino. Got it? They're just putting a little money, and you've got to have enough confidence to put some proper money into this. And so it's going to fluctuate, but you need to take it like a trend. Okay. So when we look at the graph on the left, that's Ed's pretty little graph. Okay. But the reality of how it works is on the right. All right. It goes up and down and up and down and up and down. And if you don't get what we're doing, you'll ride that boom, then you'd sell. Okay. And then you'd buy a little bit more, and then you'd sell and buy and sell, and you'll end up giving money back, where you just need to treat it like an investable asset class. Buy it, hold it. Got it? Buy it, hold it, and wait for it to do their full trend. So look, when we look at the marketplace and look at next year, I was just thought I'd give you an idea of what I think is going to be the talk. And it's going to be what I call the currency war. Okay. And the currency war is going to transform payments and banking forever. So there are basically 3 types. So you've got government coins. So this is CBDC, so central bank digital currency. So that's what the government, they create their digital currency, and they put it on the blockchain. They create crypto, and they do that because it's a better form of digital money. That's all. They're not turning around and saying, hey, crypto is amazing. They're just using it, which is like saying crypto is amazing, right? And there'll be a huge discussion. Look, I hear about governments. People tell me, oh, our government will never do it. And I go, I'm sure they won't. So you're telling me that that Canada, Japan, Korea, China, European euro, the British pound, they'll do it, but the British won't. Yeah, right. Okay, yeah, right. Of course they will. Everyone will, because money is digital and this is a better form of technology. It's just going to take time. They talk about how they're going to launch it, but in reality, it'll take 3 to 5 years to really launch this thing properly, because it's a seriously big project. It'll be very controversial, because to do that, they'll have to get rid of cash, or they'll try and get rid of cash. And there'll be a whole lot of people saying, oh, you can't get rid of the pound. Oh, I want my notes and I want my coins. I want those lovely little coins, pound coins, which are a total pain in the backside, right? Okay, there'll be a whole lot of people bitching like hell about it. You can just imagine the front cover of the Sun. Okay. And the point is that there'll be a talk about that, but the real story will be next year will be about these stable coins. So what will happen is that a large organization will launch a token that represents $1 or represents £1 or represents €1. And the world will be able to use that for international transfers. Got it? So you'll be able to send euros or pounds anywhere in the world as fast as you can send an email, and for them to be able to cash out at the other side. And the reason why people do that is because of e-commerce, and the reason they'll do that is because it'll be instant. The current system that is around at the moment is a monopoly, well, an oligopoly of major banks. And you can send money around the world. You can send an email instantly anywhere in the world, yet for some reason, digital money takes 3 days and costs you 25 quid. Like, we all know it's bollocks, right? And this is the thing that'll turn, and it'll be these tokens. And the big name that's going to tear it apart is Facebook. And if you don't think Facebook is going to launch next year with their Libra stable coins, one for the euro, one for the pound, one for the US dollar, all right, you are on drugs. They've been saying they're doing it for years now, okay? So they will launch it, and suddenly 2 billion people will be able to turn their messenger. So they have just announced that their messenger, the messenger account, the WhatsApp account, and the Instagram account have all now merged on the same technology platform. I wonder why they're doing that. Why would they want to merge all of their accounts onto the same technology platform? Obviously, they're going to launch it into a crypto wallet, which will allow people to be able to send money anywhere in the world through the Facebook network. And that's going to be all the talk next year, because there's, the other technology, which is obviously decentralized. It's all the Bitcoin and friends. And these guys aren't going to take away from Bitcoin, because do you trust Facebook with your money? Do you really trust the European Union with your money? Really?
Hell no.
Hell no. Hell no. So the point is there'll always be a market for the decentralized guys, because we trust them. Okay? Got it? And that's going to be the real talk about crypto next year. It'll be all about how using the use case around money. All right? So, okay. So what's going to happen is that in this marketplace, the market's going to go up. Obviously, soon you're going to hear a lot more about crypto. It'll start getting on television. It'll start getting in the newspapers. This Christmas will be like Christmas 2017, where, if you guys are eventually allowed to go out and have a beer with someone else to celebrate Christmas, I personally think your Prime Minister will get shot if he ever tries to. You can take away Christmas, but if you take away the Christmas parties, you literally get stabbed. So the point is that I'm sure that'll happen, and the talk will be about crypto, I bet you. And so the marketplace is going to go up, all right? And then what will happen, as I said, people will have the money, and then they'll use the profits to then go and buy. What's the new coin on the market that has all the potential? Why do you think we have delayed the listing of the Dacxi coin? Why do you think we have done that? David will know that I have been talking about the timing of listing this coin for years now, for years. You have to do it at the right time. You don't literally, you don't launch it in November 2020 because all the focus is on what? COVID. All the focus is on Bitcoin and Ethereum and Litecoin and the big guys. But in a couple of months, they will have made so much money, they'll be looking for the new coins that have 10, 20 times potential growth. Got it? Do you understand? Does everyone go, oh, now I understand what they're doing? Okay. It's why we're doing it. All right. It's why we spend, the good thing about Dacxi is that, this is not my first rodeo. All right. I have listed 2 companies on speculative stock exchanges in London, one of which was the Stock Exchange Company of the Year. The other one was the most successful ever listing at an entrepreneurial exchange in the UK and probably in Europe. Okay. So it's no accident that we're doing that. There's no accident that we're doing it. And that's why, that's why we say, guys, you need to get more DAC coins, okay? Because it has the potential, because it will be people selling out of their profits of crypto and putting it in, looking for the new opportunities. And what would you want to put your money into? Some new, a cool little tech idea of 14 barely prepubescent, tech guys, okay, with some idea, or some old dogs who have been developing a company for nearly 4 years, who are going to list nearly 100 global platforms and link them all together and lead the next, actually the big boom in crypto, which will be tokenization of asset tokens. Hey, don't forget my family future's on this stuff as well, right? I'm not a complete dick. All right. So you've got to be smart about this. And that's why we're doing that. And so when you look at crypto, okay, just be clear. People are buying. The big money is now coming into crypto today. And they're investing and they're educated in a way that no one has been in the last few years because they're big guys. All right. They're spending other people's money, which is why we see such a positive view. They will buy Bitcoin first because that is the normal focus. That's why Bitcoin has gone first. Secondly, then they'll buy the blue chips. That's why you'll see that the biggest coins in the world are growing the most and the little ones aren't. The big focus is on the blue chips, okay? And if you want to then go into the other altcoins, be very wary, because for every one that booms by 1,000%, one will go to nothing. And so what's going to happen is that they're going to take that money and look for other opportunities. And so long as you focus on buying that trend, understand it's going to be volatile, understand that there'll be this huge talk about how currencies are going to change because companies like Facebook are really going to shake the marketplace up. You just sit there and do what? Oh. You just sit there and smile, because you were smart enough to act before all of this stuff happens, because you had the guts to be able to take action, okay, and overcome your fears to ensure that you actually go all in. Guys, you need to go what? All in. And if you don't feel as though you can go all in, you need to ask. The great thing about Dacxi is that we provide support. unlike all the other platforms, they're just transactional. We're the one organization literally in the planet that has a whole organization for helping people set this thing up. And therefore, right now, okay, right now, you know, you need to learn what we're doing, connect with what we're doing, so you build that unstoppable confidence, because literally crypto is the hottest new opportunity in town. The laugh of it for some of us, it's the, you know, for me, it's a 5-year overnight sensation. Okay. For the rest of you, I hope that now you will actually take action, because, you know, what would you really do if you knew you could not fail? If you knew you couldn't fail, what would you do? If you put all your traditional negative British fears aside, okay? Bank all of that highly skeptical attitude, which is born out of centuries of every time things are going well, you have a war or pestilence or something like that. And just understand that this is literally like buying property in London in the late 90s, okay? Got it? That's what we're talking about. And really, you need to take action today, now, immediately. Don't wait, act now, okay? It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure, guys. And that's the key with all of this sort of thing. I hope people understand that, you know, you can get the message about this over fast, or you can get it slow. I've taken the slow view, because when it comes to having a look at these marketplaces, I have unique credibility, unique knowledge of the crypto market, unique knowledge of how people respond to things, unique knowledge of how industries evolve. Because the next wave is never like the previous one. It's always based on strategic changes, and with new markets, you need to have the right view. But it comes to a point where you got to get off your backside, and you got to take a bit of a risk. And you've got to turn around and say, hey, I'm going to do this. And you also need to tell everyone you know. If you're a real friend of someone, you would give them a slap and say, oi, you need to buy some stuff now. And when they bitch, okay, you just need to turn around and say, do it now. Do it now. Because this market is so important. So, cool. Do you have any questions? Fantastic. Are you saying I've answered all your questions? Or is it just late and you want to go and grab a glass of wine before a hot toddy before you go to bed?
Well done.
Yeah, no, look, it's fantastic. As I said, guys, it is a pleasure. If you're watching the recording, I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you share the love. That's the one thing. Look, right now for Dacxi, we're very excited, because we've got this DAC price increase happening in a week's time. As I hope you understand, there's a very, there's a very smart strategy of how we're actually going through this process to ensure that coin has real value, because it has. Look, we have a business model that will easily allow that coin to be worth, 10, 20 times what it is today or more. The point is that you just have to understand that it's always about being in the right place at the right time with the right business and the right system. And then the final thing is you've got to get off your backside and go into massive action. Does everyone get that? Yeah. George, get that? So if you don't have any more questions, that will be the end. So I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. The